Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. For a 2-month free trial, check out the link in the description. Today we're going to be taking a look at Diesel Fried Chicken by Rob Hann. This is a photo book I've really been enjoying lately, and it was actually gifted to me by my good friend Alan Holzman. I've known Alan for several years now. He's been a YouTube subscriber probably since the very start, and every year he always makes his way over to Indiana to visit some family, and over the last few years, every time he makes that trip, he'll stop here in Chillicothe and we'll get a cup of coffee and just kind of catch up. And a few years ago, he actually told me about Rob's work, and I immediately started following along on Instagram, and Alan just made his way through a couple weeks ago and brought this book as a gift for me, and I have been absolutely loving this. Rob is a photographer in New York City, and he actually sells his prints and his book regularly out in New York City in Soho at like a little booth kind of setup where you can go and meet him in person, buy prints and the book directly from him. Really cool to see that kind of thing happening in 2019, but on top of that, just the work itself is amazing. So today I thought we would go ahead and flip through the book, kind of show you a little bit about it, and I'm actually going to be buying another one of these to give away as well. So if you'd like to win a copy of this for yourself, stick around for the end of the video. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the work itself, kind of flip through some of my favorite photos, as well as give you a little bit of background information that I've pulled from Rob's website as well. So the cover of the book I love. It's got this photo printed here on the front, as well as this nice like soft linen wrap around everything. Really nice quality, and I love the title Diesel Fried Chicken. I think once you get a sense of some of the work here, it's going to be a perfect title and it'll make a lot more sense. In here on the title page, you can see Alan actually had the book signed for me whenever he picked up the book, so it says to Matt Day, Soho, New York City, June 29th, 2019. So I really appreciate Alan doing that. It's cool to have Rob's signature in the book. This was published by the Artist Edition in 2018, so still a pretty new book. It also comes with this little postcard here that has Rob's information and also the cover image, so that's cool to see. And right here it says for Nora. I'm not sure if maybe that's his wife or his daughter. My daughter's name is Nora, so I thought that was cool to see. I'm going to go ahead and read through the foreword as well, just to give you a little bit more background information. It says, one dark and rainy winter's night in 1999, I sat at home in London watching a TV show called This Is Modern Art. The presenter was driving an empty road under a clear blue sky near the high desert town of Marfa, Texas. He was talking about the artist Donald Judd. It was very beautiful, and I thought, I want to be there. In October 2001, I flew to Los Angeles and drove a rental car through the desert states of the American Southwest to Marfa and then back again following a different route. I traveled with my camera and a bag of film and took photos along the way. It was a thrilling experience. That trip and these photographs were the beginning of this body of work. When I returned home, I was pleased with the photos and thought I could make a book, but needed to take one more trip to complete it. Almost 17 years later, having moved to New York City in 2003, and after a great many more road trips, driving thousands of miles, this is that book. The mythology of the American road first started to take hold of my imagination in the mid-1970s through reading books, listening to records, and watching movies. Now driving those endless roads, camera by my side, I'm still searching for that mythic country and sometimes finding it. I'm not documenting the brutal, creeping sprawl of corporate America. I'm seeking the magic that still exists in the spaces in between. Rob Hann, New York, 2018. I love the idea of somebody in London, somebody who isn't from America, seeing all of these things in America and thinking that they want to visit that and capture that and really experience it, and just sort of almost falling in love with that Americana idea. You know, mentioned seeing things in books, records, and movies. It's fascinating to see how other people maybe get their own impression of America without actually being from here and wanting to seek that out. So I just love this entire concept. Actually, on Rob's website, he mentioned that in 2010, he turned exclusively to road trip photography throughout the United States. Before that, he did a ton of commissioned work with portraits with celebrities for magazines, newspapers, record companies, things like that. So it's cool to see him just go full force on this passion that started obviously so long ago. The first photo here you're going to see in the book, you're going to notice right away the color is just tremendous. That's a recurring theme in Rob's work. You're going to see his use of color is great, has a really great eye for that. And some of the scenes that he comes across are just amazing. But you have this like golden tire, and you can see where this kind of hot spot, this highlight is here on the tire where the sun is just beating down on it. It just pops so much. And this really deserted kind of landscape you're going to see in a lot of the work here. And it's fascinating that everything is so cohesive while also just being so strange. It makes me want to travel west a lot more than I already do. I love this spread here. It's clearly the same sign, just taken from both sides where it used to read gas, but I just love the two of them put together like this. It's so simple, but so pleasing. I do love seeing old signs, but signs like this where you're not sure what exactly is going on, that makes it even better. You've got food, cocktails, pool, and uncle. I'm not sure what this read before. Maybe there was like somebody's name there and that was the name of the establishment, but I just love that it just says uncle. Here's the cover image. This was shot in Texas. He always puts the location in the bottom left here of these spreads, so it's cool to see that. No idea where this concept came from with the tire on the cow, but it's awesome. A lot of stuff from Marfa, Texas, which everything I've seen from there, it seems to be like a really special place. A lot of interesting character there. This is a portrait, someone named Dottie in Arizona. There are not that many portraits in the book, so all of them I think stand out even more. You know, they're used sparingly, and I think for good reason, because they stand out completely on their own. And, you know, kind of juxtaposed against everything else, it really does add to that sense of everything just being sort of bare and deserted, where there aren't that many people in the book at all. Again, something really simple. It's just this old TV set, but I love the use of color here. You've got these orange legs that complement and contrast off the blue up here at the top really well, and you can see this was taken on maybe the inside of someone's porch, because in the reflection of the TV, you can actually see the sky and everything. So just a really, really cool, simple, but clean kind of image. This is honestly one of my favorite photos in the entire book. This is one that I kind of want to buy a print of. It's just this landscape with this billboard that just says really, really good. And I love the way he's framed it, just kind of like dead in the center, a little bit low, so it's not cutting off any of the, you know, the mountains there. But I love this. This is so simple, so plain. I love that there's just nothing going on. You know, it looks like maybe an old farm was back here. And it just says really, really good. And it's just, this is the kind of stuff, you know, a little bit of sense of humor in there that I really enjoy. I always talk about Elliot Erwitt being one of my favorite photographers for his sense of humor. And just catching little odd things like this, I'm all for that. This photo here is pretty tragic. It's got these like little kids' toys. You've got like a little race car, a Lego block, some stuffed animals, and everything is just scattered along the side of the road. This could just be things that flew out of a car, or maybe there was a wreck there. Not sure obviously what happened. I doubt Rob knows himself. I'm sure this is just something he came across, but really tragic but beautiful kind of photo at the same time. Got this old broken down and literally broken gas station here. I recently made a joke about film photographers and old gas stations. We tend to be drawn to that kind of thing. I'm not sure what it is, but Rob does shoot a Mamiya 7 and mostly Portra 160, while some of these were Portra 400 as well. Everything is with the Mamiya 7, so it's cool knowing that there's a lot of consistency just to the tools being used as well. This is another one of my favorites in the book. It's this big tire covered in mud, and it's kind of sitting out in this field that looks like it's just been completely flooded, but you have this nice reflection and everything, and the color's great, but at first glance, it really just looks like the hay bale kind of photos, at least you see around here. It always makes me think of my dad when I see this, because whenever I was like in high school and I was really getting into photography, he wanted a nice photo of some hay bales. He just said that to him just made him think of home. And so I shot a similar kind of photo with some hay bales. I wish I still had the photo. I have no idea where that is, but that's the first thing that kind of comes to mind. Obviously, a completely different kind of environment and obviously a different subject, but it just sort of has that almost familiar kind of feeling while being something totally different. So I love this one. Another one of my favorites in the book. It has this really dreamlike quality to it. I'm not sure if maybe this was a long exposure and that's what adds to some of that kind of just smooth and soft feeling to it, but obviously this is a reflection here. It looks like it's something in the sky because of this, but you can't really see where the horizon ends. You know, you can't see where the sky stops and the water starts, because I'm not sure if this is like a fog rolling in or what, but it has this really, really interesting look to it. And it's so simple, so minimalist, but I really, really love this one. The color there obviously is amazing. And again, with the sense of humor, I love that all you see in this is the side of this rock face and just the words rock there. doesn't get any better than that. I love stuff like that. More interesting stuff with billboards. This really, really old faded Dairy Queen billboard that just says straight ahead. I love that it's saying straight ahead and it's like this straight on kind of shot with nothing else in sight. It's just, it adds to that sense of just being completely deserted so much. He uses that really, really effectively when there are little things that kind of hint towards people being there, but you don't see anything else. It's really, really well done. This photo in particular is really interesting to me. It's a gorgeous landscape and it's this old barn, but on the side of the roof there is painted what looks like a stop sign, but it says meth instead of stop. I'm not sure if the message is, stop meth, and it's sort of like fighting against the epidemic, or maybe, you hear stories of people having, meth labs, obviously, Breaking Bad in an RV, but also people out in barns, way out in the desert. And you've got this gorgeous landscape here with what looks to be farmland in Montana, and it just says meth on the side of it. So, it's a really interesting photo. Again, one of those that you don't have much context there, and it just kind of makes you think. Another one of the few portraits. This is Joyce in Adrian, Texas, and she's standing next to a sign that says, "Who stuffed that white owl?" I have no idea what that is referencing, but I love it because of that. Again, in the middle of nowhere, there's still going to be a McDonald's, even if they have to literally make the sign that they put the golden arches on. America loves its fast food, that's for sure. And I love this photo here. This is towards the very end of the book. It just says Little America on the side of these silos and this nice, really bold red color with the blue sky there. This was taken in Wyoming. But it's just so simple and clean. A lot of this work really reminds me of photographers like Jason Lee. I think anybody who's into Jason Lee's work would really enjoy this book, and I'm sure if you do, you've enjoyed these photos in the book already. Before we wrap things up, I want to take a second to pay some bills and thank our sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes taught by leading industry professionals. No matter what it is you want to learn, Skillshare probably has a class out there that can help you with subjects such as animation, fine art, music production, marketing, productivity, graphic design, and more importantly, photography. I've personally taken some great classes on Skillshare from photographers like Dan Rubin, Steven Vanasco, Andre Wagner, and Elizabeth Weinberg. Elizabeth Weinberg's class is all about photo editing and getting a cinematic style in Adobe Camera Raw, which is a software I don't normally use, but after taking that class, I've actually used it a handful of times on jobs, and that class has helped me a ton. If you're ready to start learning, you can sign up through the link in the description, and that'll get you 2 months entirely free of Skillshare's premium service. So I want to thank Skillshare once again for sponsoring this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this closer look at Rob's work here. I hope you enjoy his sense of humor. Maybe I've introduced you to one of your new favorite photographers. Big thanks to Alan for first introducing me to Rob's work and then also for the book itself. I really appreciate that. If you're interested in picking up any of Rob's prints or even the book itself, you can do so at his website, which is going to be linked in the description. But if you'd like to win a copy of this book, I'm going to be buying another one just to pay that kind gesture forward and give this book away to somebody else in the comments. So all you have to do is leave a comment on this video anywhere in the world. I'll ship it anywhere, and let's say in 1 week, next Saturday, I'll pick a winner and I'll reply to your comment and let you know that you've won, and then we'll go from there. I'll get your address and get a new book out your way. So big thanks to Rob and Alan, obviously, for gifting this to me. I really appreciate it. I thank Rob for signing the book in there. That was really cool to see. So if you guys have any questions or comments at all about any of this stuff, please leave them in the comments below. Again, your comment will be entered in a giveaway. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.